The crystal chandeliers cast dancing shadows across marble floors as champagne flowed like water. Nair adjusted the orchid centerpiece one last time, her emerald gown catching admiring stares from Seoul's elite. 3 months of planning had led to this moment, a charity gala that would either make or break her event company's reputation in Asia. Everything was flawless, except for the flutter in her chest that had nothing to do with nerves. Hello friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and tell me where you're watching from in the comments below. Talking to yourself again? The voice came from behind her, deep and accented, carrying amusement that made her spine straighten. She turned to find Kang Min-jun watching her with eyes that seemed to catalog every detail. The host of tonight's event stood impossibly tall, his tailored black suit doing little to hide the dangerous edge beneath the sophisticated exterior. Dark hair swept back revealed a face that belonged on magazine covers, but it was the ink curling up from his collar and a scar bisecting his left eyebrow that told a different story. This wasn't just any wealthy businessman. This was a man who'd clawed his way up from Seoul's underground. Just ensuring perfection, Mr. Kang, she replied, proud her voice remained steady despite the way his presence seemed to steal oxygen from the room. He moved closer, and she caught the scent of expensive cologne mixed with something darker, more primal. Perfection, he repeated, his gaze traveling slowly from her face down to where her dress hugged her curves. Is that what you call it when you tell your assistant that men with money have forgotten how to make a woman feel anything real? Heat exploded across her cheeks. He'd overheard that? His lips curved into something between a smile and a challenge as he leaned in until his breath warmed her ear. Perhaps you've been meeting the wrong men, Miss Nair. 4-3 heartbeats. Nair forgot how to think. His closeness made her dizzy, made her want things she had no business wanting from a client. Especially this client, whose name whispered through Seoul's business circles alongside words like ruthless and untouchable. I should, she started. Try me. The words were barely audible, but they hit like a physical touch. Let me show you what it feels like when someone actually pays attention. She stepped back before she did something foolish. Your guests are waiting, Mr. Kang. He straightened, adjusting diamond cufflinks that probably cost more than her car. Your work tonight exceeded expectations. My organization will require your services again. His eyes held hers with an intensity that promised this conversation was far from over. Soon. Then he was gone, leaving her pulse racing and her professional composure shattered. Her assistant materialized beside her, eyes wide. Did Korea's most dangerous bachelor just proposition you? Nair pressed cool fingers to her flushed neck, feeling her heartbeat thunder beneath them. She tried to convince herself it meant nothing, but the knowing look in Min-jun's eyes as he'd walked away told her everything had changed. And she was terrified of what came next. If you want to see where this dangerous attraction leads, keep watching because things are about to get intense. 5 days of pretending she hadn't replayed that moment 1,000 times. 5 days of throwing herself into work while his words echoed through her thoughts at night, turning her dreams into something she'd never admit out loud.
Try me.
When her phone rang with an unknown Seoul number, she told herself the skip in her pulse was coincidence. Miss Nair. His voice poured through the speaker like warm honey. I hope I'm not disturbing you. She set down her coffee with unsteady hands. Mr. Kang. I wasn't expecting. I need you for a project. Exclusive retreat on Jeju Island 6 weeks from now. Top-tier investors, international press. I want you to handle everything. Jeju Island. Every planner's dream venue and nightmare challenge. That's an incredible opportunity, but surely your company has established. I don't want them. I want you. A pause filled with unspoken meaning. Your attention to detail is remarkable. The way you anticipate needs before they're voiced. The way you speak your mind even when it's dangerous. His voice dropped lower. I find that quality particularly appealing. Watching those beautiful lips form words that could get you into trouble. Nair gripped the phone tighter. Mr. Kang, I appreciate the offer, but you're wondering what the real terms are. She heard movement, imagined him in some sleek office. All controlled power. Full creative control. Unlimited budget. You'd report directly to me, which means late nights, close collaboration. Very close. The words hung between them, loaded with promise and warning. I'll need to review my commitments, she managed. Of course. But Miss Nyrer. The formality of her name sounded like sin in his accent. Remember what you said about wealthy men. When we get to Jeju, I intend to prove you spectacularly wrong. In every way you're currently imagining. The line went dead, leaving her staring at her phone, heart hammering, skin too warm. She was about to step into something that would either destroy her or change her completely. And heaven help her, she wanted to find out which. Smash that like button if you're already hooked, because this is just the beginning. By the time Nyrer arrived at Kang Minjun's headquarters in Gangnam, she'd rebuilt every professional wall she possessed. Conservative blazer, hair twisted into submission, tablet clutched like a shield. She'd researched his empire, legitimate businesses fronting for connections that ran deep into Korea's underground economy. A man who controlled territory and people with equal ease. She lasted exactly 8 minutes before her carefully constructed armor cracked. He was waiting in the top-floor conference room, floor-to-ceiling windows framing Seoul's skyline behind him. Today he wore black on black, shirt sleeves rolled to reveal intricate tattoos snaking up both forearms, dragons and Korean characters that probably represented things she shouldn't ask about. His hair fell loose to his shoulders, and when he smiled at her entrance, she saw the predator beneath the polish. Miss Nyrer. Punctual. I admire that. Someone needs to keep this project on schedule, Mr. Kang. Assuming it's not already. He gestured to a chair, and she sat, hyper-aware of how his eyes tracked her movements. I appreciate efficiency, among other qualities. The meeting began, but concentration proved impossible. He spoke with quiet authority that vibrated through her, commanded the room without raising his voice. Every time their hands accidentally touched over documents, electricity sparked between them. Once, twice, too many times to be coincidence. Halfway through reviewing the guest list, he stopped mid-sentence. You bite your lip when you're concentrating. She froze. Excuse me? He leaned back in his chair, gaze steady and burning. Just an observation. Though I'd prefer if you didn't. Makes me think about doing it myself. Her breath caught. You really shouldn't say things like that. Then stop looking at me like you're wondering what my mouth tastes like, what my hands would feel like without these expensive suits between us. He tilted his head slightly. Your body tells me everything your words deny. The way you press your thighs together when I get too close. The way your breathing changes. Heat flooded her face. This is inappropriate. Is it? Because I think we've been dancing around this since the gala. And I'm tired of pretending I don't want you. He stood, moving around the table until he stood close enough for her to feel warmth radiating off him. Jeju is 4 weeks away. Have dinner with me tonight. Call it business if that makes you feel safer, but we both know what this really is. His eyes dropped to her neck, lingering on her collarbone, then lower. The hunger in his gaze made her core tighten. I'll send a car at 8, he said, walking toward the door. He paused at the threshold, looking back. Wear something that makes you feel powerful, Nyrer. Because tonight, I want to see the woman who isn't afraid to tell billionaires they've forgotten how to feel. The door closed, and she released the breath she'd been holding. This wasn't business. This was dangerous territory she'd sworn to avoid. But when 8 o'clock came, she'd be ready. Drop a comment if you felt that tension because it's about to explode. The private jet hummed through darkness while Seoul's lights disappeared below. Nyrer sat rigidly, laptop open but unseeing, every nerve aware of the man across from her. Minjun had abandoned his usual armor, just dark jeans and a fitted shirt that emphasized broad shoulders and the lethal grace underneath. Even at 40,000 feet, he radiated control and something wilder. You're tense. Not a question. I'm working, she countered, not looking up. You've stared at that same paragraph for 15 minutes. And your leg keeps bouncing. Amusement colored his tone. What are you so nervous about, Nyrer? Before she could respond, the plane hit turbulence. Her laptop slid, and suddenly his hands were there, one pulling her sideways into solid warmth, the other steadying her against his chest. She felt hard muscle, caught his scent, sandalwood and danger. The plane shook again, and his arm tightened around her waist, fingers splaying possessively across her lower back. "I've got you," he murmured against her temple, breath hot. His thumb traced slow circles that made her forget to breathe. "You can let go now," she whispered when the turbulence passed, though she made no move to pull away. "Can I?" His lips hovered near her throat. "Or should I admit I've been looking for an excuse to touch you since that gala? To find out if your skin is as soft as it looks, if you fit against me the way I've imagined." When the plane finally steadied, he released her slowly, deliberately, fingers trailing across her wrist where her pulse betrayed everything. "You don't like vulnerability," he observed. "Don't like needing anyone. I don't like being someone's conquest." His expression shifted, something raw flickering across his features. "You think that's what this is? Conquest?" He leaned closer, voice dropping. "Nyrer, I've conquered territories and men. What I want from you has nothing to do with winning and everything to do with surrender. Mine, not yours. I want to give you everything, my control, my walls, everything I've spent years building. I want to trust someone enough to let them see who I really am." The words hit harder than his touch. No one had ever offered her that, not power over them, but partnership with them. She turned to the window, pulse racing, feeling his eyes on her like a caress. "We land in 20 minutes, he said quietly. "But I'm already gone, Nyrer. You've already dismantled me, without even trying. Wait until you see what happens when they finally land, because everything changes." Jeju Island emerged from morning mist like something from dreams, volcanic peaks, endless ocean, air that tasted of salt and possibility. From her suite's balcony, Nyrer watched waves crash against black rock and tried to remember why keeping distance from Minjun was important. A knock interrupted her thoughts. He filled the doorway, no suit jacket, just a white shirt with enough buttons undone to reveal the edge of a tattoo across his collarbone. Hair loose, falling around his face in a way that made him look almost vulnerable. "Almost. You missed dinner." His voice carried concern beneath the observation. Needed to settle in. Liar. He stepped onto the balcony. Close enough, she felt heat despite the ocean breeze. "You're running from what's happening between us. From what you felt on that plane." "There's nothing happening." "No." His eyes dropped to her mouth, then lower, watching how her breath quickened. "Then why does your voice shake like you're starving for something only I can give you? Why can I see your pulse racing right here?" He lifted a hand but didn't touch, finger hovering over where her heartbeat thundered in her throat. "You shouldn't." "What? Want you?" "Too late. Spend every meeting wondering what sounds you'd make if I touched you the way you need. What you'd look like coming apart in my hands." His accent thickened. "I think about it constantly, Nyrer. It's driving me insane." The confession hung between them, raw and dangerous. "Come with me," he said suddenly, extending his hand. "No business. No walls. Just Jeju. Just us. Let me show you who I am when I'm not performing." Every logical reason to refuse dissolved when she took his hand. His fingers closed around hers, warm and sure, and he pulled her close for one heartbeat, close enough to feel what his words had done to him. They spent the evening in tiny restaurants off the tourist maps, sharing soju and stories. He told her about growing up with nothing, about the choices that led him into darkness, about building something real from ashes. She told him about Tanzania, about leaving everything familiar to chase dreams in foreign cities, about the loneliness of always being strong. But beneath their words ran something else, awareness that crackled with every shared glance, every accidental touch. "I used to think power meant never needing anyone," Minjun said, eyes holding hers across the table. "That vulnerability was weakness. But then you walked into my gala and looked at me like I was just a man. Not my reputation, not my money. Just me. And I haven't been able to think about anything else. I'm terrified," she admitted softly. "Of me? Of this. Of wanting something that could destroy everything I've built." His hand found hers, thumb stroking across her knuckles. Then we'll be terrified together. But Nyrer, I promise you, I won't let you fall unless I'm falling with you. The walk back stretched between silence and promise, hands brushing, fingers tangling. At her door, she turned, heart pounding, body aching for things she shouldn't want. Good night, Minjun. He leaned in, lips almost touching her ear, voice rough with restraint. The way you say my name sounds like an invitation, like a promise of everything I've been dreaming about. His thumb traced her bottom lip slowly, and she gasped. Sleep well, Nyrer. Tomorrow I won't be this patient. Tomorrow I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Then he was gone, leaving her trembling against the door, wondering how restraint could feel more dangerous than touch. The next evening, Jeju's humidity wrapped around her like silk. Nyrer had showered after a day of site inspections, but nothing could cool the heat Minjun's presence had ignited. She stood in her suite wearing only a silk robe, hair damp and loose, skin still warm from the water. She was pouring wine when the knock came. Minjun stood there looking wrecked, hair pulled back messily, shirt sleeves rolled, eyes darker than she'd ever seen. He took in her appearance, the robe, her bare legs, and his jaw clenched visibly. You've been avoiding me all day. I've been working, she replied, clutching the robe closed with one hand. He stepped inside, closing the door with deliberate care. Don't hide from this. You're my client. I'm a man who hasn't stopped thinking about you for one single moment since that gala. A man who's imagined your taste 1,000 different ways. Who dreams about your voice saying my name when I make you forget everything but us. He moved closer, predatory and graceful. I know I shouldn't feel this. No, it complicates everything. But Nyrer, I'm done pretending I don't want you so badly it's destroying me. For a moment, the dangerous man disappeared, leaving someone raw and real. You make me feel human, he continued, voice rougher. Not like a weapon, not like a monster. Like someone worthy of softness. And I'm terrified because I've never wanted anything this much. Never needed someone the way I need you. Tears burned her eyes. People don't choose me, Minjun. I'm the one they leave. He reached out, catching a tear with his thumb, then brought it to his lips. The gesture, tasting her sadness, made her breath hitch. Then let me be the first to stay. Let me be the one who chooses you every single day, who makes you forget every person who is too blind to see what I see. The air felt electric. Her robe had loosened, revealing more skin. His eyes tracked the movement, darkening further. Nyrer didn't step back. Instead, she tilted her chin up in challenge. This is the moment everything changes, he breathed. This is where it gets intense. Comment if you're feeling this. His control shattered. One hand slid into her hair, tilting her head as his mouth claimed hers. Not gentle, not patient, just pure raw need. She gasped and he deepened the kiss, tongue sliding against hers, tasting, consuming. Her hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, closer, needing more. He walked her backward until her spine hit the wall, his body pressing against hers, letting her feel exactly how much he wanted her. His other hand gripped her hip, then her thigh, lifting her leg around his waist. She moaned, and the sound seemed to break something else in him. His mouth left hers to blaze down her jaw, her throat, finding that sensitive spot that made her gasp his name. Minjun. Say it again, he demanded against her skin, hand sliding higher on her thigh, discovering nothing but skin beneath the silk. He pulled back to look at her, eyes black with desire. Say my name again. Minjun, she whispered, and he captured her mouth once more. This kiss somehow deeper, slower, like he was memorizing every sensation. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, lips swollen, hair disheveled, he rested his forehead against hers. His thumb stroked her cheek with devastating gentleness. I should go, he said, though he made no move to release her. You should, she agreed, but her leg remained wrapped around him. He smiled against her lips, pressing one more soft kiss there. Tomorrow, I won't stop. But Tonight, I want you to think about this.
About me.
About what's going to happen when I finally take my time with you. With visible effort, he unwrapped her leg, stepped back, walked to the door. He paused at the threshold, looking back at her against the wall, thoroughly kissed and wanting. Dream of me, Nair. Morning light revealed his absence, just his scent on her pillow and a note on expensive paper. You make the world feel real again. Tonight, I'll make you feel everything. Don't hide from me. Her body flushed with remembered heat, but by noon, her phone exploded with notifications. She opened one, and her stomach dropped. A photo. Minjun with his hand in her hair, her leg wrapped around him, bodies pressed together against a wall. The headline screamed, "Calm Minjun's new weakness." African woman behind closed doors. Her email filled with cancellations. Whispered accusations followed. She was sleeping her way into Asia's elite circles, trading her body for contracts. When Minjun found her in the hotel lobby, cameras flashed outside like lightning. He strode in looking lethal, hair pulled back, jaw tight, eyes promising violence to whoever had hurt her. "Come with me."
Now.
In his penthouse suite, she turned on him. "You don't understand what this means. My reputation is everything. They'll say I. Let them say whatever they want. I'll make a statement. Tell them you're with me, that anyone who disrespects you answers to me." She shook her head, curls bouncing. "That only proves them right. You can buy silence, but I can't buy back my name. I can't buy back my dignity." The words cut deep. She saw it in his eyes. The realization that his power couldn't fix this, that money couldn't protect her from this particular pain. "Nair, I need space. Please." He hesitated, nodded once. "If that's what you need." When he left, she sank to the floor, phone clutched in shaking hands as camera flashes lit the windows. She'd walked away to save her reputation, but her heart stayed where he'd left it, along with the memory of his touch burning into her skin. If your heart just broke, keep watching because this story is far from over. 3 weeks since Jeju. 3 weeks since Minjun. 3 weeks since that kiss that haunted every dream and left her waking empty and aching. Nair buried herself in work, rebuilt her client list one careful pitch at a time. The headlines had faded, but whispers remained. Every time her phone lit, her body responded, pulse jumping, breath catching, hoping. It was never him. She told herself she'd moved on. But every night, she replayed his voice. "You don't have to hide from this." And other things, the way he'd groaned when she pulled his hair, how his hands had felt claiming her. Until one evening, a knock came. When she opened the door, he stood there looking tired, but burning with determination. Hair loose, falling around his face, dressed simply in black. Almost vulnerable, but with steel in his eyes. "Minjun," she breathed, and her body remembered everything. "You look exhausted, Nair. That's what happens when you're rebuilding everything." He nodded slowly. "I tried to fix it. Called in every favor I had. Threatened people who deserved worse. I didn't want your money or your threats. I wanted my peace." "And what about me?" His voice cracked slightly. "What about what we started? You don't get to ask that. You'll move on to the next. Do you really think that's possible?" He ran a hand through his hair, frustration and pain warring on his face. "You think I've slept since Jeju? You think I haven't thought about you every goddamn second?" The roughness made her breath catch. "I've built an empire from nothing, Nair. But you're the only thing I can't control, the only thing that makes everything else meaningless. You're the only thing I want." Her defenses crumbled. "Why are you here?" "Because I can't lose you. You taught me what love feels like, what needing someone so badly you'd burn down everything you built just to keep them feels like." He stepped closer. "Don't punish me for learning too late." Tears threatened. "I need time. Then I'll wait. I'll wait forever, if that's what you need. But know this." He moved until his chest pressed against her back, lips near her ear. "You're mine, Nair. You've been mine since that gala, and I'm completely yours. Whenever you're ready." Then he left, and the air felt colder without him. What he sacrifices for her next will leave you in tears.
Keep watching.
Days passed. Nair tried to focus on work, but couldn't ignore the ache, not just in her heart, but everywhere his hands had touched, everywhere his mouth had claimed. Until she saw the headlines. Kang Minjun walks away from deal. Chooses scandal over billions. Minjun had been negotiating a massive partnership with a Chinese conglomerate. The same company whose executives had publicly mocked her, spread rumors about her character. He'd walked away from $5 billion. For her.
Her phone rang.
His best friend. Someone she'd met once. Nair, he did it for you. They demanded he denounce you publicly, distance himself. He told them to go to hell. Said you were worth more than all the money in his accounts. That he'd rather lose everything than lose you. That night, she couldn't think straight. Every reason to stay away dissolved. By morning, she stood outside his building, heart racing, hands shaking. When Minjun emerged, he looked shocked. Hair tied back carelessly, shirt sleeves rolled, exhausted but beautiful. Nair, why would you do that? You lost billions because of me. It's just money. He stepped closer. You're the only thing I couldn't buy, couldn't replace, the only thing that matters. You didn't have to prove anything. Yes, I did. You thought I wanted to protect your image. I didn't care about your image. I cared about your heart. I wanted to prove I choose you. Always. What if I'm still scared? Then I'll keep showing you until you're not. Silence stretched between them. Then Nair closed the distance, one step that felt like flying and falling simultaneously. I don't need the world to believe in us. I just need you to mean it. His hand found hers, fingers threading together. I've never meant anything more. And I've never wanted anything more than I want you right now, in every possible way. The double meaning made her breath catch, heat pooling low in her belly. If you believe in this kind of love, show your support by hitting that like button. Rain drummed against Seoul's windows, painting Minjun's penthouse silver. Nair stood by the glass, watching the city, lights blur. The chaos had quieted. Just her and the man who'd changed everything, and silence that felt like coming home. But underneath, anticipation. He entered quietly, wearing just dark jeans and a fitted sweater that emphasized every line of muscle. Hair loose, eyes softer but burning. You didn't have to come back. I didn't plan to. But you left me no choice. You kept showing up. You sacrificed everything. I wasn't showing up for forgiveness. He moved closer. I was showing up for you. Because you're mine, Nair. And I'm yours. She walked toward him. When I said rich men don't know how to please a woman, I meant they don't listen. Don't see us as whole people. But you saw me when I didn't even see myself. Made me feel things I thought were impossible. You taught me that love isn't about control, it's about surrender. His hand cupped her face with devastating tenderness. I don't want to own you. I want to earn you every single day. I want to worship you the way you deserve. Then, with movements that made her breath stop, he reached into his pocket. The small velvet box caught light as he opened it, revealing a ring that made her gasp, a deep green emerald surrounded by diamonds. Promise me something, he said, voice thick with emotion. What? Never stop laughing the way you did that first night. The one that changed everything. And never stop being mine. She laughed through tears, stepping into his arms. Careful what you wish for. When he kissed her, it wasn't gentle. It was deep, claiming, full of promises and hunger. His hands slid down, gripping her waist, her hips, lifting her easily. Her legs wrapped around him as he carried her toward the bedroom. Tonight, he murmured against her mouth, I'm going to show you exactly how well I can worship you. Exactly how completely you own me. As he laid her on his bed, his body covering hers, hands already working at her clothes, Nair realized every moment of pain had been worth it. Because this man didn't just love her, he chose her. Every day. In every way. If this story touched your soul and made you believe in passionate, unshakable love again, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another emotional journey like this one. Second, drop a comment below telling me which moment had you holding your breath. Your kind words inspire these stories. And thirdly, hit the like button to support my channel and help me reach more people. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this journey with me. I'll see you in the next story.